We tell stories at Milwaukee PBS. Here's one you may have missed.
We visit with a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright from Wisconsin. Ayad Akhtar grew up in Brookfield and has returned to the Milwaukee Repertory Theater to stage his play titled Junk. Akhtar's plays and books are known for challenging how we've traditionally defined the American experience. His works present a Muslim American perspective to explore and create conversation about tough topics like finance, societal norms, and assimilation. Akhtar sat down with us to talk about his creative process.
Language is most compelling to me and also most convincing and most expressive when it is pushed to the limit of its ability to express. And in a way, I think for me, the theater is a chance to return to a kind of urgency of language. My name is Ayad Akhtar, and I am a playwright. I think it's one of the paradoxes of my work is that I often say I've only been so successful because people are really misinterpreting what I'm writing. To me, I'm writing about my experience, my American experience, I suppose, if one would call it that. But I think that, in the heyday of identity politics, I've become something of a poster child for Muslim identity within the sort of literary or, I guess, representational area, and caused some consternation because of it, and also and garnered some success because of it. I had a high school teacher who said, write what you know. And for years and years and years, I thought I was doing that. And then I didn't. It all kind of came together for me in my mid-30s, really, where I started to understand that I was not writing, I was avoiding my childhood and the community I grew up in, and I was avoiding writing about that because I did not recognize what other people would find interesting about it. It wasn't that I was trying to tell people about my experience, it was that I was able to recognize life and what happens between people through the character sets that I had grown up with. I'm interested in the complexities of human life. When you make great work, you cause the audience to think more deeply about and feel more deeply about their own experience. It's up to them to come to whatever conclusions they want to come to. It's not my job to make them think a certain way of thinking or being is right. I want audiences to become absorbed. I want them to lose themselves in the experience.
My name is Mark Clements. I'm the artistic director of Milwaukee Rep. Milwaukee Rep is a producing theater. We do 15 productions a year. Ayad had been raised in Milwaukee.
I love this city. I love this state. I grew up seeing plays here, so it was kind of a thrill to meet the new artistic director.
We connected immediately, and he seemed to be knowledgeable about what work I'd been doing here at the Rep, and was really enthusiastic and said he would, if there was anything he could do, if he could help us in any way. And I was like, well, as you're asking, yes, there is. So we made a connection. And really, that's been about 5 or 6 years ago, and what has evolved from that is a connection with the theater where we've produced all of his works. The very first production that we did of Ayad's was The Invisible Hand, and this is the piece about a sort of hedge fund guy who is captured by a terrorist group in the Middle East and is held to ransom. Basically, when his bank won't pay the ransom, he decides the only way that he can keep himself alive is to actually work for them to create wealth. And then after that, we did Disgrace. We did Disgrace in a three-way co-production with the Mercado Theater in Princeton, New Jersey, and the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis. And that was the play that won the Pulitzer Prize. The sort of dinner party that looks like it's all going well, and all the characters are in the play are people that you kind of wish you kind of looked like or had their lifestyle, and then the truths and starts surfacing to the top, and the cracks of the veneer and the friendships. So it's this very powerful, incendiary piece of drama. The last one we did was The Who and the What, about a father and his two daughters from Pakistan. The girls have grown up in the States, and wants the best for his girls, and how they, as young people growing up in the States, are kind of trying to assimilate to that and keep dad happy and live their own lives.
To have memories of shows that I saw, on the Powerhouse stage, and then my shows on the, it's just, there's a kind of weird, again, dilating of time, and I don't have that in a show on a New York stage or on a London stage. It's been special. It really has been. It's just really, it's very rewarding to have a presence here.
This is the first regional premiere of Junk. We decided to do it as a natural progression from the work that we've been producing of his. Junk is about how we've sort of become in servitude to debt in one way or another.
It takes a lot of work to get inside the play. Every scene is written in such a way that you can understand the basic human action of the scene. So even if you don't understand the financial jargon, you understand, okay, somebody's lying to somebody, or somebody's trying to do something they shouldn't be doing, or somebody's trying to be loyal to somebody, or somebody's betraying somebody. And as long as you understand that part of the story, then you understand the story. I think the audience is smarter than we give them credit for. It's a value to offer the audience a picture that is more complicated than the one that they are used to seeing. I think that there's an urgency when we are communicating about what is most terrifying to us, what is most longed for, what is most loved. And I think that the theater, to me, can have that kind of poignant urgency, can have that kind of concussive urgency. I think that my work tries to find that. I think a lot of naturalistic American writing shies away from that, in the sense that I think it's often seen as melodramatic to have people say what they really mean and to ask for what they really want. I think that the theater is the right place to see people doing that.
Watch the Arts page on Milwaukee PBS and watch online at milwaukeepbs.org.